watching the SEC ACC Men's Challenge presented by Continental Tire. On a sub-30-degree night in Knoxville, undefeated in third-ranked Tennessee welcomes Syracuse to Food City Center. As you just saw in the college football ranking show, the football team very much in the national title conversation of the Tennessee team. Night mode for the first time for the Vols basketball team, going with the all-black unis and the orange numbers, something the football team has done once a year for the last few years, but debuting on the hardwood tonight.
Somebody called the equipment manager and let him know I want the shorts. I mean, fantastic look. Bad possession there to start the game, though. Playing without J.J. Starling, they need to be aggressive, and if you look for aggressiveness, to me, it's Donnie Freeman, the very talented freshman who's coming off his best game so far. He's got to be aggressive and assert himself by driving the basketball and getting a piece of the paint.
He is the ACC co-rookie of the week. By the way, Lucas Taylor is taking the place of Starling in the starting five, but he missed the shot, and it's rebounded by Freeman, averaging about 9 boards per game. A turnover. Tennessee trying to push it with numbers. Pull up three from Ziegler, no good. Akpara got the board in the slot. Syracuse 4-2. The 2 losses against Texas by 4, Texas Tech by 5. Back-to-back giveaways for the Orange in transition. The basket and the foul from Meshack. Chance at a three-point play for.
Listen, we create turnovers. We've got to create points off those turnovers. They
averaged in championship last year, 6 straight NCAA tournament appearances. That ties a school record. They made it to the Elite 8. 3 straight turnovers now by Syracuse. The lob in the alley-oop dunk, Lanier, and a foul. Great look by Ziegler. 3-point chance for Lanier.
Dave, it's what they do so well. You just see active hands. Zakai Ziegler, as I mentioned right off the top, he is a disruptor at the defensive end of the floor. He is a facilitator at the offensive end. His ability to disrupt, create the steal, and throw that pass on time, on target for Chaz Lanier.
Taylor with the foul, his first and the second on Syracuse. Already facing a major challenge without J.J. Starling. Got to at least get a shot on the rim. Can't keep turning the ball over once you cross midcourt. That'll help. And if Chris Bell, Lanier at the elbow, Meshack puts it on the floor. He coughs it up. And now Freeman bringing the ball up the floor. Lampkin in the lane, spinning and finishing.
He does such an excellent job utilizing.
Off the bounce, lost his footing and couldn't knock it down. Lanier in the front court. Syracuse gets back. They leave Milicic, though. Wild shot. Not there, but the tip is from Akpara.
Do what you do.
Among the nation's leaders in three-point shooting, Elijah Moore checking in for Syracuse, coming off a 19-point game against Cornell the other day. He hit 5 threes in that game. Freeman, tough shot, draws the foul. Milicic, the first on Tennessee.
Elite at the...
The SEC, ACC champions now in year 10 here with the Vols after a lot of success at Texas.
Now Tennessee has taken lower quality of shot than what we're accustomed to seeing so far this season, and that has to do with the length of this Syracuse team. They mix and they go to the zone.
And how about Naheem McLeod out there getting some minutes, has not played a lot. Tennessee by 3, 6.5 gone by here in the first half. Davis trying to go baseline. Dribble handoff to Elijah Moore. Pull-up jumper is good. Syracuse has not shot the ball particularly well this year, but obviously they got to make them tonight to stay within striking distance of this very potent Tennessee team.
Now Syracuse, when it started the season, played a ton of man-to-man.
There's a basket and a foul, and McLeod picking up in the middle of that defense, just trying to give Lampkin a little breather as Lampkin's back on battling and controlled by Lanier. Tennessee 0 for 5 from 3. Syracuse 1 of 3 from deep to start the game. So Lanier drives, lob pass off target. Phillips catches and goes back up. And
one of the things that excites me most about them, as these guys find their roles and continue to grow in them, in particular, Cade Phillips.
He's got 6 points already, averages about 7. Lampkin scoring on the other end.
You want to be a national championship team, they have passes for Tennessee.
We've been doing a lot of football, basketball crossover here. Talk early on. Cade Phillips' dad, grandfather, and uncle all played football at Alabama, which, by the way, was ranked number 11 to the surprise of many.
How you feel about that, Dave? You cover a lot of football.
I think they're better.
Yeah.
And if it's about the best teams, which it's supposed to be, I think they should be in.
South Carolina have any claim with the way they finished their season?
They do have a loss to Alabama, which doesn't help, but they played hot down the stretch.
Basket.
I'm a little rusty in the college hoop. This is game one. This is opening night for me as far as it goes in terms of college hoop. Great job with the hustle. Lanier getting to the loose ball. Syracuse kind of standing around after the missed shot. Lanier puts it in.
Can't afford to give up second chance points. And there's been 4 offensive rebounds already in this game. And that's led to 8 second chance points.
Elijah Moore continues to have the hot hand. Drills 3. And Tennessee's lead is only 2. That's 7 points for Moore already. He averages less than 7 per game. But again, 19 against Cornell last time Syracuse played. Pull-up jump shot falls for Lanier on the baseline.
And he is tough with it. You know, so much talk about what happens after.
7 points. Lampkin spinning. Had it blocked by Akpara.
That one was a little wild.
Ziegler, lob, and the slam by Phillips. Timeout, Syracuse. Here's Ziegler, the reigning defensive player of the year in the SEC. First team all-conference a year ago. 5'9", senior guard. Great tip. Wow, Cade Phillips again showing off the athletic ability.
How do you get more minutes as a player?
10 points so far. Tennessee by 8, its largest lead of the first half. Here's Milicic out to Ziegler. He'll try a 3. It's good, and a foul. The first made 3 for Tennessee, and it might lead to 4. Carlo.
They took that timeout to kind of gain momentum and try to settle things down, and instead they've come out. They gave up an offensive rebound and then a potential 4-point play here.
Now Ziegler back in February of 2023 tore his ACL, but he returned preseason. He's currently leading the conference in assists, number 3 all-time in Vols history in assists, number 4 in steals. 10-0 run by Tennessee. On the other end, Carlos
came in averaging just 3 points per game.
Transfer from Hofstra, spent 3 years there. Ziegler got it stripped. Milicic secures it, and a foul. Milicic will shoot 2. The team foul. His first personal.
That Texas Notre Dame game piques my interest based on Olivia Miles and Hannah Hidalgo.
Ibarra missed the first few games of the year with a personal matter. Back on the floor for the Vols, and he turns it over. Good hands by Moore, now running the floor and getting the lefty layup.
Well, Elijah Moore has added a little bit of energy here and popped to
1 for 9.
He gets a steal on the previous possession. He gets the defensive rebound.
And a good pass that time to Freeman. Fall away jump shot swishes through. Syracuse back within 7. To have quality depth, because if you're not starting, you're looking elsewhere to start for another school. But Tennessee has great depth that makes him one of the best teams in the country. 3 is good. Syracuse 4 of 8 from 3. Tennessee 1 of 10. No offensive rebounds yet for Syracuse, which is on a 10-2 run. And another foul on a 3-point shot. That's the second time Syracuse has done that. This time
going in, trying to swipe.
Challenge continuing on SEC Network. Georgia, Virginia Tech.
That would be a huge win against Mississippi State, because Mississippi State has a guard by the name of Josh Hubbard, who's just a walk-in bucket at 5'10". Great pass.
Nice pass by Kyle Cuff and a foul, and so Maestrovich will go to the line. It's interesting, Red Autry said this week he was Kyle Cuff Jr. getting a chance to play earlier this season.
Well, he originally committed to play at Auburn, and he's wiry, he's strong, plays with pace, can score at all 3 levels dating back to his high school time. Before he went to AZ Compass, he was playing at Sierra Canyon in Southern California.
Cuff with a steal.
Great
Good pass in transition. Freeman couldn't get the layup. The tip won't go. Loose ball, and Milicic controls it, and a Syracuse foul that will put them over. From Croatia, the Tennessee leading by 7. 5-minute mark, first half.
A couple fans came up to me and go, I didn't believe we were going to be explosive. And their balance at the offensive end of the floor has been elite so far this season.
And their defense continues to excel. It all started with the hustle play. Ziegler past his man, kicks it out. Swing and a three. Gainey, no good. Tip won't fall. And then Lampkin got the rebound and was fouled. That is just a 15 foul, so it'll be a side out.
Are you afraid of the big moment? Here's a freshman playing in front of 20,000. Then he's got a steal, he's got an assist, he's got 3 rebounds. And now he's got double digits in points, the first to do that for Syracuse this evening.
And I know you love Syracuse historical information.
I do. Do you have any?
Now that you can wear basically any number you want, Elijah Moore is the first Syracuse player as the alley-oop is converted with Akpara getting the tip in at Syracuse. 3-time All-American basketball, 3 sports star in Central New York.
More importantly, what number did you wear on the intramural team for the Newhouse School of Broadcasting?
000. It's a special number. Here's Donnie Freeman, and he rattles it down.
He's got a
Ziegler drive and kick. Comes back to get it. Fires away. Can't connect. Offensive rebound again. Tennessee crashing the glass and really controlling the offensive rebounding. Ziegler down the paint, kicks it out. Hanging and scoring is Meshack. 7 offensive rebounds now, and they convert in the second chance opportunity.
12 second chance points to 0. They're a 19-9 advantage on the glass, and that was one of the areas they thought they addressed. They struggled from rebounding the basketball a year ago. They've been much better at it so far this season. There's going to be a technical.
Tennessee by 10.
You like working with UCLA guys. You're working with Bob Myers all the time on NBA games. That's my teammate.
That's in my contract. You have to have attended UCLA to work with me on basketball. Fouled on the 3. 3 free throws coming up for Chris Bell, who's knocked down 2 threes in this quarter.
That's where he's really looking to try to build some momentum in his offensive game.
Bill Walton's passing, obviously just a horrendous loss for the game.
As Bill would say, the Conference of Champions that is no more.
Elijah Moore, 12 points to lead Syracuse in scoring. See if they can get him a good look. Carlos, and a foul from behind. Ziegler trying to poke it away. Hopefully the official is going to call that. Another missed free throw. 3 for 10.
Unbelievable.
For Syracuse. And on the front end of a 1-and-1 no less, and now a timeout by Rick.
Kai Ziegler. Roll into the basket.
7 seconds to go. Ziegler alley-oop, and a foul underneath as Lanier went up.
Syracuse will have 5.4 seconds though.
Make a huge jump as a junior. First team All-Atlantic Sun, and then transfer to a big-time school like Tennessee.
What you can do, against increased competition.
Carlos, 3 seconds left, takes it all the way, puts up the shot, and scores at the buzzer. So Syracuse, despite missing 7 first-half free throws, he's out indefinitely with a hand injury, suffered in practice. He will be reevaluated later this week. They do not expect him to miss the rest of the season, so that's good news. Here's Milicic starting the second half by hitting a 3. And they were just 2 for 15 as a team in the first half from deep.
And a much better three-point shooting team than that on the season. Came in shooting 38% from beyond the arc.
Meanwhile, Syracuse struggled at the line, and a big reason why they were down 10 at halftime. They were 3 for 10 at the stripe in the first half. Got a foul on Akpara. It's his second personal. First. The Syracuse
of Syracuse, as this season goes along, we're going to have to continue to step up.
In a very acrobatic athletic play that he made out of his area to tip it home. Carlos penetrates, leaves it for Freeman, who scores over Akpara.
One thing you've seen from Syracuse this season, and they've trailed in games, and they continue to fight and claw their way back into them.
alley-oop again. Ziegler this time. It's Phillips with. Lanier drills a three, and Tennessee starting to catch fire now from deep. As many threes already in the first three.
Jim Boeheim. And while there's similar principles and connection between Coach Autry and Coach Boeheim, they're not one and the same. And we've seen that shifted. They play a lot more man-to-man defense now. That's obviously a huge part of it. But it's getting to a point
for cancer research and the amount of money raised
for you. He said, pray for me. And Coach Barnes texted him almost every day a prayer. And we all miss Dick Vitale on the call of games like this. And this venue sold out with two great programs going after each other. And he said, listen, I want things coming up that are going to be really important, and he still needs all of our prayers. And we're praying for you, Dick, and just appreciate all that you've done for the game of college basketball.
Getting to the paint and scoring the basket is Jordan Gainey, and it's 59-41. 5.5 minutes into the second half. Tennessee led by 10 at halftime. Hit a couple threes early in the second half. Syracuse yet to make a three since intermission. Foul inside on the putback try by Davis.
In the second half, 22% from the field. That's allowed this career.
Last year, just the second in school history. The other was 2010. They lost to Purdue.
They have been spectacular under his leadership, and that's why you get 21,000 people to show up on a Tuesday night for college basketball.
Gainey drills a three. What a second half he has had off the bench.
And when they've gone to the zone, it really has not been effective.
And you think of their history as the zone, you always think of the 2-3 with the top guys, the two guards usually being 6'5", 6'6", and having length.
At both ends of the floor.
And good defense, Gainey with the steal. 3-on-2 if they hurry. Another alley-oop pass by Ziegler. That one broken up by Davis. Oh, how about that in transition by Chris Bell, taking it to the rim. Hit a couple threes in the first half, and most of the threes have been open looks.
Yeah, just great ball movement, quick passing, decisive passing.
Lanier drives by his man, and a foul called as Lanier hits the deck.
And the ball movement has been so crisp by Tennessee. We came in talking about how there's only one team in college basketball that ranks in the top 5 in offense and defensive efficiency. And then the team in black on the floor right now, Tennessee. And standing in so much of that goes to that man right there, Rick Barnes, and Zakai Ziegler. And their understanding of how they want to execute, what the identity and the effort that is required, and the culture that has been established here.
Dalton Connect obviously was a great player here, and now having a mid-Feb, late Feb, gearing up for the NCAA tournament, trying to find its identity and maybe get in that mode without Dalton Connect on a consistent basis, realizing this is who we're going to be.
It's the thing that keeps you up late at night right now. And he goes, it's my front court, because without J.P. Estrella, there's going to be times where they're going to have to play small and play Meshack at the 5. And in some of those games inside the SEC, you start losing rebounding battles and teams start going to work in the paint. It becomes a lot more difficult tonight. Akbar's done a good job, by the way, staying out of foul trouble.
And Estrella, you mentioned, out for the year with a foot injury. Hanging finish by Ziegler, +1. No teams from the ACC unbeaten. Duke's already got a couple losses.
Yeah, and this challenge is really important to the ACC to change the narrative. The ACC only has 2 wins against top 25 teams so far this season. As we conclude, if you want to change the narrative, it's really simple. You have to win the games. And the ACC has struggled, and a golden opportunity in this challenge over the rest of tonight and tomorrow to start to change that narrative a little bit. If they can sneak out a couple of wins that maybe people think they should.
For years, the ACC has had 5 teams each year make the NCAA tournament, where before we were used to 7, 8, 9 getting in from that conference.
Such a rich tradition, and a little bit of that has been, you talked about replacing a legend. Kelsey has done early at Louisville, has been very positive on from that. But, you know, Chucky Hepburn's been playing great.
Elijah Moore has been the best offensive player by far for Syracuse.
He needs to start playing more. He just makes plays happen. Good job by Bell being active there.
Lanier couldn't get the basket, but a turnover by Syracuse. Gady all the way for the slam. 12 points. Jazz Lanier, 20 points on the night. Transfer from North Florida, where he spent the last 4 years. First team Atlantic Sun last year. Made over 100 threes a year ago, and he's already got 29 this year, leading the SEC. Milicic taking it strong, drawing the foul. He's hung around in the first half despite not having its lead. Shot clock down to 5.
To me, those kind of turnovers that lead to the runouts that we've seen, that's like Jameis Winston's pick sixes last night.
Lanier hits a 3. And Akpara with a ferocious board. Lead is 28. Looking for more. 3 from Lanier. So Lanier's starting to catch fire. He's got 26 points now. 4 3-pointers. The lead is 31.
Does UNLV get in?
Looks that way. They're ahead of Army. So if Army wins and UNLV wins, you think UNLV would be the non-Power 4 conference champ that gets in. We got a foul on Syracuse inside. The Tennessee football team ranked 7th by the committee. This is fun stuff to talk about. And imagine, how about Alabama, like it's on its way to an 8-0 record for the first time in 24 years.
Conference play. You're talking about these teams getting to 12 teams. You're talking about teams that have 1 loss, not getting into the college football playoffs. You know, that handled business all season long. When you get past the current number that we're at and you start thinking about going out, whether it's 96 or whatever they want to expand it out to, you start letting in teams that are 500, not excellent, didn't win big games all season long. Like, if you're telling me that we're going to expand it out and you're going to give more to some of the smaller conferences for those regular season champions that won 30 games but lost on one night and so therefore lost their bid, maybe I'm a little bit more interested. But if not, I think we need to make sure we get 12 and 11, 12, and 13. And those teams have losing records in conference play. I'm not necessarily in favor of seeing them have the opportunity to get in it. Auburn and Duke, which is going to be just an absolute massive game on ESPN at 9:15 East.
Most casual college basketball fans say the best thing, and some would say the only thing.
And look, you talk about interest. Over 2.5 million people tuned in to watch Kansas Duke on a Tuesday night Thanksgiving week. People care about this sport, and the coaches have done their part by scheduling up. So many coaches have taken a much more aggressive approach to their non-conference scheduling. You're looking at him and you're saying, okay, that's a great piece that we've got right there, number 8. And then you start looking at the recruits for next season. Sadiq White, as Paul Biancardi told me, the most athletic and explosive player in next year's recruiting class heading up to Syracuse. Carmelo Anthony's son joining that recruiting class. It's a lot of length and some positionless basketball, and they've done a great job getting a top 10 recruiting class coming into Syracuse next year.
You mentioned Kai and Anthony, and then you got Luke Fennell coming from Australia as Bell gets the slam in transition.
Sloppy play here by Tennessee in the last couple minutes. That's 3 turnovers in the last 2 minutes.
Lead is 25, though. Balls have not been 8-0 since the 2001 season. They started 9-0 that year. Dubar fouled, and that's his staff. He's always empowered his staff to have voices at shoot around and at player development and going through the scout, but finding the right pieces. You talk about Dalton stabilizing and filling in the gaps that maybe you have as you go through your normal recruiting process of high school players. You mentioned the veteran players, whether they're guys that have been here or are transferring in as Davis scores and is fouled. We were watching a drill before tonight's game. There were no coaches on the floor. Student managers looked like at one point there were more managers than the players, but it just
pinned on the side. You allow help side to cheat over and it clogs up lanes, and you're usually playing at a disadvantage. You said Bob Knight told him a story. Get to the middle third. It's actually 6-on-5 offense because you take away that help side player, and that space acts as another offensive player that you can operate your offense with.
Ziegler beats the shot from behind the arc after going 2 for 15 in the first half, and that's how they've blown this game open.
Well, 184 career-made three-pointers now. It ties him with Admiral Schofield for top 10 all-time. There's a couple things I'm taking away from this game. One is Tennessee is legit. Set a career best, season best last time out, and comes back in this environment and plays the way that he has tonight. That is a huge bright spot for Syracuse.
And you touched on this when we were talking about him earlier in the half, is how much he loves the game. He's the first guy out here wanting the ball in his hand. Still shooting right around 50% on the season from behind the arc.
He's been outstanding. 57% of his shot attempts coming into this game are from deep. You know it, you see it on the scouting report, and yet he just gets to his spot and he's ready to catch and shoot at all times. Played outstanding down the Bahamas, 26 and 25 versus Virginia and Baylor in back-to-back games.
Miss inside. Loose ball. Tennessee going to keep possession, though. It's kind of how the night has gone. All the loose basketballs, the balls have come up with. Texas Tech, all their wins have been close for that matter. So their first blowout defeat of the year.
And they want Grant Hurst to score the basketball. Here he is with an attempt.
And he gets the layup inside. It's as loud as the fans have been all night. And the arena's almost empty because everybody left to get a head start on traffic. How about Kyle Koff taking it strong? Chance at a three-point play. Now the SEC continues to rule college basketball early on in the season. We'll go to 5-0 against the ACC. And again, you look at the top 10, and it's heavy SEC. And still a third of the unbeaten teams in the country are from the SEC, including the Volunteers, who win at 96-70 to go to 8-0 for the first time since 2001, when they started 9-0.
Really impressive with the way Tennessee came out. They got moved up to number 3 in the national polls. They looked the part. The SEC, if you wonder how good this conference is,